Ready, I called over at 6:01.
Second.
Oh.
Not yet.
Okay. Oh,
We're getting there.
hey, so excited.
Would you like to call those in?
Bracken,
Yes.
Luddington,
Here.
Bixler,
Yes.
everyone is present.
Line item 3, scheduled guests, Robert Providence to discuss ruts left in yard by ODOT. You have the floor, sir.
Well, I know I talked to you about it. You said you'd look at it, see what you could get done. Well, I don't know, that was in April sometime when I talked to you. The 23rd or something, but then I left the next Thursday and was gone Thursday, Friday through the weekend and Monday. When I come home, somebody put a little sand in there. I don't know who done it, but they just wasted their time what they done. I don't know who put it there. And I've talked to the contractor that did all the work, ODOT, he wanted to come and lay sod in. I said, that won't work, because it'll just still be rough anyway when they unroll that sod. And Sturt gave me the number of this guys, the
Sign
traffic
guys, yeah.
sign guy. So I called this guy, Doug, from High Lincoln, Texas. It was a cell number 479, but the corporate number was in Texas. And I called this Doug, and he referred me to Muskogee, to the Advanced Work Zone Service. And so I called, and he told me I need to talk to Brad Bickle. Well, when I called, this lady by Diane answered. She said, well, Brad ain't here today, and she wanted to know what the problem was, and I told her. And she gave me this other guy's cell phone. His name was Steve. And I called him and told him what the problem was, and he said, I'll get back with you. He said, we got a crew in the city, we got plenty of sand, but nobody's ever got back with me since I talked to him.
Do you have that, and that was that Bickle?
Yeah, I've got the numbers right here.
If,
If you want another copy of this, because I want to keep it.
yeah, heck yeah.
And he said he would get back with me, and I talked to him even before I talked to you, and I've never had a call back from him.
Well, you're getting the runaround.
Yeah, and I didn't know, I thought since I had this number, if the office or somebody from here could call him, maybe that'd do more good, I don't, but something needs to be done. And I don't feel like I should have to do it.
No, I've got the contractor and the subcontractor that you're talking about, that Advance. And, you're right, they said they were gonna send a guy up.
Now, maybe
And they
that's
sent
it,
him up,
that.
yeah, that's up.
But he said he'd get hold of me. Well, they never have. Well, if they had called and said they was coming, I told them I wasn't gonna be there, that I need to be there, because I wanna make sure it's done right.
Yeah, they sent a guy up, and apparently he didn't do a good job, and I told them that
Bickle?
they would be
But
there.
he was the one I was originally supposed to talk to,
Oh, okay.
but he wasn't in the office that day, and I
Okay.
talked to this Steve. This lady gave me this
Okay.
other number and said his name was Steve, so I called him, and he's the one I visited with.
Okay.
Okay,
And the lady in the office, her name was Diane, when I originally called that number.
okay. Yeah, I told them that I wasn't too happy about their half a wheelbarrow full of sand that they put in the ruts. And,
Did you ask him why they was in there to start with, though?
I didn't want to, I didn't want to get that, I didn't want to confuse them.
When they should have been coming down the right of way.
Well,
Instead of my front yard.
Yeah, hopefully we can get something done, calling them day and night for a while and stay on them. I mean, obviously we'd like them to come and do it as soon as they can. The silver lining is that if they just keep ignoring us, that they won't get paid for the sign job by ODOT because it won't pass the walkthrough.
When's their walkthrough?
They did their inspection, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
Well, there was a couple of guys walking around, but I didn't know what they was doing. I just seen them walking. But I knew there wasn't no need me talking to the ODOT, because, like he said, we got a crew that we lay solid. And I said, that's really not what I need.
Yeah. I don't know when that's going to be. I would think it would be.
I
very
mowed
soon.
the other day after the sand was put in there. You couldn't really tell that any sand had been put in. It was a little rough mowing.
Yeah,
And then I do have one other little complaint.
yeah,
My neighbor's little black dog. I come home yesterday, I had my garage door open, and she lets it run loose. Angie, a little pile of mud of some kind. And I pulled up and it was in my garage taking a dump. So either you need to send her a letter that the dog needs to be in the pen or chained up, or something might happen. Tonight when I left, she had it in the pen, the first time it's been in the pen since she's moved back to town. And I know I was talking to my neighbor, Juan, the little Mexican. He walks that big dog every evening. Well, some evenings he can't go because he gets ready to leave, that little dog comes over there. Well, he said, I'm afraid when I go, because he keeps his dog on a leash, this is gonna get run over. And I said, well, take that. And if he does get run over, that's what he gets for being loose. But I think she needs a wake up.
yeah, we said,
Cause I know Stuart can't catch him. Cause I've already tried that. He won't come to you. He'll just get from about here to that deal, and that's as close as he'll get to you. But he comes over to my yard all the time. Pesters my dog, gets a pen, gets her to barking, and mine don't usually bark till
I haven't seen it, what is it, like Latin?
it's a
chow mix, or-
mud of some kind. Now her other big dog, that thing that's about this tall, she keeps it on a chain. But this little one, since she's moved back to town from out in the country, they got this. Well, I had another dog and it come up missing, so as soon as they got rid of it, we go get this little bitty pup, and it's a growing. It's gonna be a pretty good sized dog, but I don't think it needs to be running around.
So the sign company's called Advance, is that what you said? I missed that.
It's called Advanced Work Zone Service.
Advance.
Are those the ones that would put up the signs? Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, you talk about even like this sign right here, it's part of like this sign that's here in the street, but they're the same ones that put up the
Yeah.
blinking sign.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so they're a subcontractor to the city or a subcontractor to ODOT?
ODOT.
To ODOT. So we just have to
Because
get
the
that.
sidewalks was an ODOT project from
From,
all,
Oh,
from get-go, yeah.
what about my other deal in the corner of my yard? Have you got heard anything on that yet?
Oh, he's coming
He's
next
com-
week,
Oh, he is? On the
so
gas
I'd
line?
say in 2.5 weeks.
Maybe
maybe
by
here, but
this
yeah.
time next year?
Don't worry, I'll call him
I hope
every
not.
week.
Cause it's kinda getting to be it's been there plenty long.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh-huh.
What
Oh.
is that
What?
in the corner of your yard?
Gas leak.
Oh, with the fence around it?
Well, the thing barricades laid over, the
Yeah.
pipe sticking in there, yeah,
Oh, my
it's kinda
goodness.
nice. Uh-huh. So, I guess that's all I've got, but you might, when you find out something, you might let me know, so I'll make sure if they show up, I'll be there, 'cause to get it done like it needs to be done. Not a shitty job. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright.
All right,
Well, sorry you're having to deal with that, but we'll see what we can
Okay, all right,
do
thank
for
you.
you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, see y'all.
Called Jennifer, I don't know what she's calling. Do you have her number?
I need to call her for line 4.
And here's the new. Invoices that are being approved, or the invoices that are being approved for the part of the job they have done and invoiced.
So are we 100% completed on the sidewalks or how?
Oh, this sidewalks.
Yeah, but they have to go through their inspection, so I'm sure there'll be something, a half a degree off or something for ADA. And I'm sure the ODOT will have fixes for them, but.
Punch list, basically.
As far as the job being complete, yeah,
Okay,
it's done.
cool. So when do you think that'll be? Sometime probably within the next week or two. Probably want to wrap that up if they're wanting to get final pay and stuff.
You would think so, but ODOT did their walkthrough 2-3 weeks ago, at least.
So they're probably generating the punch list then for everybody.
And the sign guys came out to fix all their stuff, so
Okay.
I don't know what it'll take. Like, I don't know how much they actually have that they have to repair.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if it's a good amount, I guess it could drag out for quite a while. But I'm sure there's a completion date even for repairs.
So have they seen, like when it rains, how it pools up worse than they've seen that?
It's always pulled up terrible.
It's worse now. I think it kind of gravitates and runs off pretty well there. Maybe a French drain or something, don't get a 20 by 28.
If you can get ODOT to do it,
Did you ask them? Is that
they don't care to recut any of that.
really? You can put a submersible drain in that ties in south of co-op? Really?
Because when we had meetings, the drainage was brought up every time.
Yeah, because it's pretty bad now, I feel.
Their argument is that it goes uphill from about where that drain is at the co-op, it starts going uphill.
Yeah.
And my argument is they're the ones that made it do that, because the original highway,
agree.
when it turned down Main, did have drainage, and they built up the approaches going to the bridge. If they hadn't done that, it would drain. But
Yeah.
if they'd have gone and done something as simple as cut a ditch over on the west side and
Yeah.
put some gutter in there where those driveways are, it might drain. But I mean, I don't think this project has exacerbated that problem. It's always been terrible.
It just seems like now it pulls up faster from what it did. That's just my observation, but I mean, just opinion only. But I have noticed
It
that.
just depends on how hard it rains out.
So let me ask you this, would we be in trouble as the city if where the co-op's property starts next to Frontier, if we were to cut in a 28 by 28 precast concrete drain and submerge it, and then do an 8-inch line horizontal over in front of the co-op if we had their permission?
You can do that, but your drainage issue is north of there.
But all that pools up there, so if we captured it there, we could relieve
That
it.
would probably need to be put as an agenda item
Okay.
on another meeting.
Well, that'd be something we could do, because I'm sure the co-op would work with us and stuff.
I don't know if I don't think it's necessarily a co-op or city issue. It's a state highway. It's ODOT's issue. And they should be the ones to take care of it.
Okay.
I can get you some numbers if you want to go after them and get them to
Yeah,
fix it.
I'll
Because
ask them.
it's been that way for about
Yeah, just give me a point of contact here,
years.
and I'll get on the phone.
They weren't going to put sidewalks there. I guess that was solving the problem. But I thought that was kind of bad of them to not service those houses with any sidewalks. But it seems like that might have caused the problem. Are we ready for line item 4, discussion and action to approve payment of Bear Claw Services invoices? Would you like me to get Jennifer?
Sure, she asked.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Jennifer, we are in our town meeting. We have our 2 new trustees, Kimma Nixon and Matt Bixler here. And then Cindy and myself.
Okay.
We are going over discussion and action to approve payment of the Bear Claw Services invoices 1141 through 11143. Using CDBG funds for grant number 17765-19. Would you like to
Okay.
explain that in further detail?
Well, we finally got invoices from the company, which is really good. And there were 5 these are the first 3 that was up for payment. And so we had them, we're testing out it, we're retaining them, we had them fix that, so all 3 of them should have pains removed from them now. And so the amounts that are there should be able to be approved as approximately, and I just walked into the card in from the file, but it's approximately like 126,000 and something, and CDBG will cover 100% of all 3 invoices. So number 4, number 5, we're working on to get clarification on, and Jason and I, the engineer, will sit and look at those sometime tomorrow, so that way we can look how we can pay those.
Okay.
But that's kind of it in a nutshell. Any questions? Yes, I like the silence.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Invoices 1, 2, and 3 are for just from coming off the pipeline, and then
It's for a lot of the work that we did for us. I know that.
okay.
What's the completion percent of work right now?
What
Of
is
the
the
total,
completion?
of the
I
total
didn't hear
job,
that.
of the total job. So where are we sitting at? If the job was 100% done right now, are we sitting at 80% done, 70% done?
It is 100%.
It is?
done.
Okay.
Well,
I think within the next 2 weeks, he'll be 100% done. I don't know if he's called and made those last 2 connections and called the truck out.
Cool. Are we staying within budget of the original bid?
I can't hear that very well, I'm sorry.
are we? He asked if we were staying in budget of the original bid.
We are staying in budget of the change order that we had so far, yes.
Cool.
Um,
Is there any?
yeah, I mean, we should have some leftover local funds by the time we get done.
OCC.
We're hoping that we should have
They have
We
their own
also have
compliance regulatory issues. They're all licensed and certified for it, so we let them do it.
That's all the steel connections.
I don't
Now
think
that
it was
we're-
an
I
OCC.
just don't understand it.
Okay.
So it's from 2
She's
weeks
in
out.
charge.
So 2 weeks out, basically.
Possibly, yeah.
Cool. Basically, if the
Weather.
weather, yeah, if the weather allows them.
And so
Dirt.
our hope is to be able to use a future REAP grant to finish the rest of the gas line.
Correct.
Okay.
Does she have an estimated cost, what it costs to finish up that?
No, because we're not sure what we've got done
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
I'm guessing that it would use up the REAP grant. I hope it would be a whole lot more than that.
Cool.
Like CDBG REAP or just REAP?
Hopefully just REAP. But it may require more.
Yeah.
Just have to see what's left after we do the final inspection and then, work with Jason to give a cost estimate so we can see where we need to go.
So she will be able to provide us a phase 2, let's call it phase 2, cost association with that, right? To finish out?
No, cost estimate would have to be done by a contractor
Oh, okay, I didn't, okay.
or consultant. I
Or an
don't,
engineer.
yeah.
Yeah,
Our engineer could probably do a cost estimate, because right now you know what's what and where it is, and we have
yes, sir.
ODOT approval for the easement, and we have all the prints and everything already done, so when you go to do it, you won't be starting from Genesis like we did, you can just have a
Up and
turnkey
go.
bid process.
Is that something that we can work on now to start going for this REAP and
No,
we can't wait to wait
Yeah,
till
you
yes,
don't want to
it's
start
until
the project
it's
and stuff like that.
available
Wait
and,
till it's
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Put
Because
that-
she has certain times it comes out,
Okay,
and then we have to go to meetings mandatory,
Okay.
and then timeline. It's,
Yeah,
it's
the
what,
feedback is
October?
normal.
It's
Yeah.
usually October's when that REAP grant is due, and it's not funded or awarded until February, right, Jennifer? Or after the first of the year, anyway.
Yeah, after, for CDBG, like what you're in now, if you apply for that again, it'd be next year. So that's why we do our state grant in the fall, so you can use that as leverage with your, federal CDBG grant.
I'm just kind of doing a shadow to keep it
If
going.
that's the case, we
We
need to
have-
cost estimate and we need more than just 50,000,
This is like year
then we
number
still have
5
the
or 6 that
opportunity
we've
to
been
apply for a
working on
federal
this.
grant.
Cool. That sounds good.
What else you got we can apply for? Anything?
Sure. There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Okay. All right.
Tourism grant, there's a tourism grant too. Help with walking trails and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Jennifer?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Is anybody clear what Jennifer said?
It's as clear as mud.
We got you, Jennifer.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
We got you. We understand. We,
I greatly appreciate all you do.
Yeah. I'm loving it. I'll be loving it when it's done though.
Yeah.
all right. Well, we'll let you get on to bigger and better things, Jennifer. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. And then your next agenda item is just the third invoice out of the four that we have building versus the project is pretty much close to completion. So that's just a standard. It was 40% since we're almost done with the project.
Oh, okay. Sorry to cut you short. Whoops. Okay.
Okay. Thanks guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Or need something else.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jennifer. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Can I get a motion on line item number 4 to, I was gonna say disapprove, but to approve payment of surplus service?
Well, you can make the motion, whatever the discussion or action is for.
Unless there's further discussion.
I don't know, everything looks good. So, I'm not too familiar with it, but the process looks similar to what we interact with. 5% retainage, you're said, you're almost done, so you got 2-week window, walk through, punch it out, and keep going. So I make the motion.
To approve?
Yep, yes sir. Motion
I'll,
approved.
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
So, yeah, sorry, but I have one more question on discussion on it. So our next one, we'll be able to approve the walkthrough and finally cut them their final payment, sounds like.
Because
Based
like
upon-
because like with these, the federal and the state grants, they send us the funding for it, it goes in our grant fund, and then it's a wash, we turn around and pay it out. So it comes from the town, it doesn't come from them. So, and then she gets copies of all of our checks, and she has a file and we have a file, and it matches. And so that way it all goes through, so. But yeah, because even like, because originally this line item said other invoices and local funds, because we know we've got local funds pending on this, but they wanted to reevaluate and make sure mapping and everything was right on the last 2 invoices, so we took those off and the local funds, because we don't know where we're gonna be at, what our total cost is gonna be. We know it's up, possibly up to about 60,000, but it might not be that much.
Plus or minus.
Right, so, and that's the way it is with the next line item, CDBG pays us and we turn around and pay them.
Yes ma'am.
So we just kinda have to, it's a wash through. So, okay, your vote was,
Yes.
okay, Chad,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
motion passed.
On item number 5, discussion action to approve payment of OEDA invoice using CDBG funds for CDBG grant referenced earlier.
What's OEDA?
Economic Development Association.
The Oklahoma.
Okay.
And OEDA is who we do like that's the organization that does this for us.
The packaging.
It's like
Oh,
NODA,
okay.
like NODA's the Northern Oklahoma Development, and we have OEDA, which
Out of
is
Beaver, right?
out of Beaver, and then they kind of office with the group in Enid, because Jennifer's out of Enid. And they are the ones that also do, when we come to it, the REAP grant, which is
Okay.
the Rural Economic funding. And that's what we have used the past several years to do all the gas lines in town and all of the other things that we've been able to get updated and
Oh,
replaced.
good, okay.
So, yes, we have used REAP funds for quite some time for the gas line project. They look at Freedom and go, gas line project.
So what would you say our percent of new pipe or gas lines are for the whole town? From supply to service within the community? Sounds like we've done a lot, or you guys have done a lot in the past.
In town, once that is complete, it should be 100%.
That's awesome.
And then the new stuff that we just did will be the new, otherwise it's part of the steel and stuff that we're replacing because of aging.
We still have some steel risers and stuff in some places,
But very minimal, it sounds like.
as far as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Travis comes and finishes up what Robert Max was talking about being in his front yard where that leak was, when he gets that down, I would say we would be 90+% because we just have some smaller steel risers and there may be a place or two that got missed over the entire
Yeah,
redoing project, but
according to most of our maps that have been done,
Do we also get that, do we update all of our maps while we do the new services?
we do.
Oh, I didn't know if
That
came in.
hasn't always
I
been
hasn't always been practiced in the past.
just didn't know.
But no, we have, so that going forward in the future, everybody knows where lines are. And locating line is put on them so that you can use your little tool and find it easier than putting a hole in it.
like we've had some maps, Matt, like there's a line on there, it shows 2-inch steel going past the depot and down the road behind the co-op. That line doesn't exist, and I'm not sure how it got on that map, but there's things like that that need to be gone through, and it just takes people and time. OEDA has a mapping.
CIP. It's a CIP, which is your capital improvement plan,
Mhm.
which all of these maps can be made from them. That's where these came from back in 2011. And so 10 years ago, which everything now has changed, gas-wise and stuff, and some different things. So it would probably be, in the next year or so, a good idea to ask Jennifer about possibly doing one of those.
And we would have her through a REAP grant.
Yeah, she would do it, she would do all of it, come out and meet, and we'd go over, prioritize different things. I mean, we have a CIP book from last time, and, it's probably good practice to do one once every 10 to 15 years, because your
Okay.
priorities change.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, back then, we didn't know that we were gonna have this gas line issue that we've had since then, because that gas line wasn't even really on the last CIP, because we hadn't had the issue we had to make it in upfront,
Yes, ma'am.
replaceable.
There are, if you were gonna use CDBG funds with OEDA, I don't remember the score sheet or how it works with how much you have to put in local funds and how much REAP and how much CDBG will match, but there's two components to our gas system that we haven't replaced that are completely functional, and OCC doesn't have a problem with it. But our riser station that comes into town is late 50s model.
And that's on the north side, down the west side of the road.
And then when we come off the pipeline, there's a cal odorant station, and we inject our own odorant in our utility. But I mean, it's that same vintage. It would be nice to have a modern pressurized canister computer injected one, but I mean, it does the job. There's no issue with it. It would just be one of these days if you could get some money to do something like updating that wouldn't hurt a thing.
Does that help our position by having local matching funds? So if we were to raise 20,000, throw in the kitty, and we apply for these REAP grants and through OEDA, does that give us a kind of advantage to?
Mhm.
It does. Okay. So we got some
Anytime you can
Yes.
contribute, yeah.
And then that's why we have the extra going into this one, so
Right.
that we could get more out of the project.
Right, okay. No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cause you know, and it's kind of, usually it's almost exponential percentage. If you give a little bit, they give a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's why you try to give
Yeah.
them as much as you can, so you're not leaving too much money on the table.
Because it used to just be that, can you give some? Yes, well now the past couple of years, it's like, what percentage can you give? If you, more of the percentage that you can give, the more points you get for more of a possible grant award. So, because, like I said, we're just applying for these and you just hope you get them.
Is there a way to build up on the monthly budget out of the annual, a holdback for that to kind of give us a seed money, if you would? So let's say it was 1,000 a month we could raise for 12 months, it's 12,000. Then we ask some people in the community that might want to get a tax write-off and get our 10, that's 22,000. Then we have some money sitting there, so it's just not constantly asking her. Is there a way to do that financially without messing up any of your annual budgets or preparing for an annual budget?
I can look into it.
I mean, that might be something to hold back on. I mean, it's kind of like an
And,
emergency.
I mean, individual contributions, I think would be great for something like park improvements or
Right.
something that's
I don't
not
know if we can use
infrastructure
any-
related.
yeah, for
Now, see, if we could
stuff
pull
like
back 1% of something just to start building a nest egg, that'd give us kind of a head start on getting that capital to throw in there so we could go after what you all want to do. So, just thoughts, throwing out stuff.
Can I get a motion on line item 5, which is to approve payment of the invoices that we just approved?
I'll make the motion to approve the payments.
I'll second it.
Good job, good job.
Do you have any questions, Carol, on that?
No, I'm just learning about all this. I don't know all this construction and grants and who all's involved and what it all takes. This is all new to me.
Don't worry, if you're like me, in 3 or 4 years, you'll have it down pat.
Well, I just feel like a little
It's a
bit
pretty-
going in one ear and out the other.
It's a pretty steep learning curve, because it's not.
But I'm
it's
sure when
different.
you go through the whole thing from start to finish,
Then you understand the
Yeah,
processes and the
but
paperwork, the applications.
I'm kind of
yeah.
walking in on the end of this.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
just,
this-
I don't know what all this means, but it's interesting.
Okay, your vote came out.
Oh, yes.
Bixler,
Yes.
Shan,
Yes.
motion passed.
Line item number 6, discussion action on past meeting minutes from the April 14th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes?
Yes.
And if you have, I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Shan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
motion passed.
Line item number 6, discussion action on the purchase orders for the general grant and ambulance funds. I was supposed to say fire.
No fire.
Okay.
Yes, this time.
Cool.
So no. And the grant is the, these up here, these notes, we approve them individually and I just automatically write them down at the bottom as well in the group. So that's why they're not on the list, there's no. I know, I had to come change that after she sent me all of those to take out the local funds, because I already had the check done and I was, I was on a roll, being done early. And I wasn't done early because I had to come void and cancel and. Okay. So, and then that way your spreadsheet May is on the second page. Of that one.
Woods County,
That includes the irregularity hearing, we owed $70 on that. And then the final payment for the rent of the building, the payment to the ladies there and stuff. So it's just finishing up the election costs.
finishing up, okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say that's the cheapest election I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, that was $500 before that. And then that finishes up all the actual cost expenses after the fact. Any questions? I can get them if I need to.
Do you have any questions, Scott?
How many, is the co-op gas?
Like, do they use gas?
I mean, for the, like, to
Are
fill
they-
up for fuel and stuff like that?
Yes, that's what our co-op bill is, either gas or tire repair, or if he needs some supplies or something,
like
yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes.
Does the town just have one gas card and credit card?
Yep.
If everyone's had a chance to review the POs, then I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Sharon, your vote?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Sounds like you, Cindy. Number 8, discussion action to approve application for temporary appropriations for 2021 through 2022.
This is so that we, at the end of the year, our fiscal year ends in June 30. But our budget and everything is not completely approved through the state until October. So this is our temporary appropriation so that we can go ahead and pay our bills and do what we need to do from July 1 to whenever everything is finalized and sent back to us approved from the state. What she does is about 90% of the previous year's budget amount, and so that way we're not, gonna use it all up between now and October. We hope to not ever use it all up between now and October or between now and June. So this is like the needs for the town of Freedom require the immediate approval of temporary appropriations for the fiscal year 2021 through 2022 in accordance with Title 68 of Oklahoma State Statute Section 24100 as amended. Therefore, as permitted by Title 68 Oklahoma State Statute 1991 3020/B, the Excise Board of Woods County be requested to approve the temporary appropriations to the extent of and not to exceed 90% of the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget of $157,454.96 as approved by the board, and the amount of, so we're requesting our temporary part to be $141,709.47 and other estimate of needs as submitted to the board. This is all in the estimate of needs, agreed upon procedures, accounting that we use for budgets that I'm sure you guys learned about last week.
Okay.
And tax revenues and everything else.
So, I just,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
okay, vote Chad, yes. Matt?
Yes.
Emma?
Yes.
And before you leave, I need signatures on this.
Line item number 9. Discussion on the share trust grant status for park updates / upgrades.
Well, I spoke with Todd Holder today. I spoke with Jesse Jones' dad, Johnny Jones. And we were approved back in December of 2019 for $100,000, but we had to raise money in 2020, and since we did not provide any matching funds in 2020, it goes back into Kitty. So we have to reapply and submit in by June 1st to Johnny Jones and Todd Holder. And so what we've discussed is I've kind of figured out what Vanessa was wanting with some improvements to the columns. Maybe we do like concrete columns or block columns on the pavilion. Maybe some benches that are powder coated black steel that won't fade. Fix up the basketball goals, a couple stuff like that. So I've started putting together a cost association with that. But what they would like to see also is some skin in the game. And so I know we can raise some money to match their funds. I don't think there's going to be 100 available to us at this point in time. It's because they've got other stuff going on and a lot bigger projects. So I would like to at least head up this one and let me kind of run with it, come up with some designs, some products, let you guys, let everybody here see it. But I'd also like Vanessa Erloff to throw some input in and see what she would like, because we need to fix it up for them since they started this, and then get with you once everybody's decided what's needed.
And then also probably Valerie Brown, because she would be the Legion
Oh yeah, she's the
contact.
representative, I forgot about that.
So we
It's
probably
not a
need to
state
get
deal,
her.
it's a local deal now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
So, yeah, she would
Yeah,
need
because
to,
our percentage of the
1/4.
park, even though the taxpayers pay to maintain all the park, but we only have the small section where the
water tower is.
Right, but the grant's gonna be through the Veterans Memorial. That's what it needs to
Yeah.
be through.
which is the Legion.
And Vanessa, right, with the
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
With
Vanessa
the
has the
Cimarron
whole county.
Association, yes.
So, and I talked to Johnny today this afternoon, and so he said if I can get it to him by June 1st, they'll take it to their meeting, which gives us plenty of time to figure out. I kind of started doing some legwork on it already.
So what is their matching amount? When you said they had 100,000
We had-
paid last time.
Well, yeah, so we were, in the
Yeah,
letter I
matching.
provided, did you guys get that letter I provided? I don't have my phone, dang it.
Oh, here, I think I got
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
it. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. I just got it. I sent it, I swear to God, you got an email.
You may have got, I just haven't checked.
Yeah, I sent it, I didn't have your email. I need, Milo, I need your email.
Okay.
I didn't keep one.
There you go. But anyway, long story short, December of 19, the trustees said we could do up to 100,000 in 2020, but that window's closed because we didn't raise anything. But I don't think, in fairness, anybody received a letter.
We did not.
So,
Because I kept waiting, because I'm like, and I kept asking Vanessa, and Sage was here as well. Sage was part of the Cowboys part
Right.
of the ladies auxiliary, he was the
I
men's
just think the
side,
ball
so.
got dropped.
Yeah,
And so now we need to pick it up and
Yeah.
take it home. But that 100,000, I'm pretty sure is going to be out of our swing, if you will.
So
Mhm.
I guess. back
Well,
to
and
my
that was
question,
doing
is this a dollar?
Quite a
amount?
bit, I mean,
Yes.
and we,
I know,
you
it's
shoot
fine.
for the moon
Yeah.
and be happy what they can give you is what
Yeah.
I had explained to all of them when we were kind of applying for it. I was
Right.
like, you shoot for the moon, it's just like Christmas. You make your Christmas list and Santa brings you what he's gonna bring you. So
So-
it's like, because a grant is kind of like Santa,
This is what is more realistic right there. That's,
what they can give.
yeah, once we kind of go, but we can come up with matching on that.
Yes, let's say, and that is not, I mean, like I said, the town itself cannot, but we can help the
Yes.
other organizations
Yes.
organize and
Fundraisers.
fundraise and do whatever we need to do.
And my wife and I will commit 5,000. So we'll put 5,000 seed money in. So you'll get your first 5 and do a tax write-off for us and improve the park, so.
And then you and I discussed that one very simple. Here, it's kind of like when you get your specs together, kind of like this is what we'd like to do. You know, here's a sponsor wall. How would you like to start helping sponsor?
Because then everybody's gonna keep a
But
sponsor wall.
I'm gonna disagree with the cedar though. I don't want any more cedar. I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm.
No, they
not.
were not wanting to replace the cedar benches. They were wanting
Yeah.
metal powder coat.
Powder
They just
coat.
wanted the plates of the memory of,
Well,
or in
I'm-
memory of on there
Well,
somewhere.
I'm talking
Or
about the pavilion though too, like, maybe some dry stack stone to cover those, 2 7/8 pipes, you know?
Oh,
I don't wanna cover it with cedar because it's just more maintenance.
Well, and I think Vanessa said something about, covering the rafters.
Yes, there's no birds, and that'll be easy too. So, there's ways we can do that, so. But we'll get that started
Yeah.
probably next meeting, I'll try to have, once I get your email, I'll have all that stuff and I can send it out to everybody. And then maybe we can have whomever help us kind of put it together while we're all working and package it up for us, so we don't drop the ball, because June 1st,
it's
we
gonna
need
be
to have
here
it.
for you.
That's
Yes.
right around the
Mhm.
corner.
Who's on the park board? Sage, Hodgson,
It was Sage, Taryn, Vanessa, Randy Rhodes, and then they wanted me to write it, so I did the fluff writing. They all got their cost analysis together for me and their wish lists, and then I just retyped it on the form, on the application and stuff, and then did what I call the fluff writing for the grant of the organizations putting it together and the reasoning behind it and who can benefit from it and all that, so. And I also have in the works as well that might help us with some of the matching is T-Mobile has community money they want to give out, or like 25 million over the next 4 or 5 years to communities for recreation, parks, things like that. So I have everything from this grant, or from the previous one, and I've been working on the application and everything, but I need 5 letters of support.
5 letters of support
Mm-hmm.
for the park.
Yeah, for like the project, because it's like, I mean, one of the questions I asked that I've never had on an application is, if something happens to you, are there other people to step in and take over? I'm like, yes. I said, there are other employees of the town and board members and other community organizations that would step in to make sure, you know,
To
that
fill your
to
shoes.
take over the project and make sure it was completed, you know, I mean, but these days with COVID, I guess, or whatever, you know, if you're hit by a bus when you're walking across the street, you gotta make sure your, you know, ducks are in a row.
Covered.
So, but, so I didn't know about possibly like the superintendent principal from the school, one from Valerie from the auxiliary, you know, from the Cowboys, I mean, from the organizations that were helping on that, and then,
I think that's good, but I think we also gotta get the 2 churches,
mhm.
that'd be positive.
Well, like I said, I have to have at least 5.
Let's say
so,
more. We get the
So-
Legion, a city one, a secondary city one.
Right.
2 churches, the high school, or the school, and then the chamber as well. Get all them, and I think that'd help you a ton.
So
What about, what we could do is we could all figure out what we wanna call phase 1 maybe with the sheriff, and what we generate ourselves in fundraising, and then phase 2 could be that. And we could probably, I could get you a rendering, a colored rendering, so it actually look professional and.
because this is just an online application.
Oh,
I
it's
have it-
online,
yeah.
it's not documents,
No,
nothing's
no,
middle.
it's
Oh,
online, so, but like the cost estimate, I can upload,
Okay,
yeah, something like that, I can get that uploaded. So yeah, if I have it by the next meeting, or as soon as you get it, you wanna give it to me for the next meeting, I can always apply for that one outside of this.
right.
Because you can apply for that one as a citizen,
Mhm.
as a town member, as a school, it can be applied for by anybody, it doesn't have to be a municipality or anything like that, it can be anybody. Because it asked what my role was, and I just put town, you know, municipality, that I mean, I cover several roles as a citizen for freedom, as a,
Right.
you know, but, so, but,
Oh,
yeah.
this is me.
Well, is there anybody that you'd like for me to contact about letters of support?
If you know any of, who is Bryant still the chamber?
Yes.
So maybe one from him and then one from Mrs. Sheelight from the school,
Yes.
that way it's two, I mean, kind of the same thing. And then, the churches,
Okay.
if you wanna get with Mark
Okay.
and, is it still Todd Finley?
I don't know who's over there.
Mark probably, no, I think it's
Mark
Todd,
will
I
know.
think it's Mr. Finley from
Mark
the
will know.
Moreland area,
Okay.
yeah, I think he comes up. I see him in town whenever the churches are doing stuff in Bible school and things, he's in town, and I know he's a preacher down there, I think he covers.
Okay, and the letters of support needed to kind of state what? That they would,
You know,
Take
to
over.
utilize the, no, they'll have to, they don't do that.
If
But no,
that happens,
they, support the project
Oh,
of
support the
upgrading the,
project.
yeah, support the
Okay.
project of upgrading and
Okay.
updating the
yeah,
park.
that's a good idea because they use it a lot.
Yes, the churches do, so. So, that would be
And
very
do you
helpful.
want me to talk to Vanessa on the
Yeah, that'd be great, for the
auxiliary?
part. Mhm. That would be great.
Thank you.
You said Todd Finley?
I think Todd's his name, I know Finley's his last name,
Okay,
I think Todd's his first name.
okay.
He used to be.
Could those funds be used? Could you use share funds and matching funds to go up to make matching funds for the parks department grant?
Mhm.
Cause that takes you
I
to
haven't
a
read
hundred
in
and
depth,
$60,000 project instead of 80,000.
I haven't read in depth on what they want for matching, but I'll dig into that a little deeper. I have that application online. I can look at that a little deeper, because I know part of it was, yeah, we had to, I don't remember if it was like 50 or, if they gave 60, there's a percentage in there, and I'm not sure which percentage, how it went. But I will look, because there was, but we can use, I know for the Parks and Recreation grant, you can use in-kind, so any labor we do, we can keep track of to report as in-kind for part of our contribution.
Can the rural water district, if they get their own OWRB grant, for example, to take the old water line off of the old bridge, I wonder if that would be considered in kind as part of the project? Cause I'd like to
That would be
eventually
nice.
get that off of there and open that for a
Walkway.
walking trail where you can
Mhm.
go and look at the.
I took
bluffs
your
and
idea and I
stuff.
asked Bill about it after you suggested that, and he said they would be willing to work with us. So,
I've given them all the information for them to do their own grants, cause they're eligible for OHITA REAP just like we are. And they're eligible for Rural Water Resources Board grants,
so who else
which
is
are
on that?
also REAP.
Who else is on that board?
The Lonnie Hepner is the treasurer.
Okay, good. He's a-
Boyd used to be there. I don't know
Yeah, I
if
don't
he's
know, I don't know
anymore.
if it's Darren that took Boyd's place, I'm not
Yeah,
sure, but I know,
Darren's on there, Darren Hughes.
Darren's on that? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I say, because I know Monty was the one that, when rates increased, he was the one that signed the letter that sent us the notification, so
He took Maddox's spot.
I'm not sure.
Do you have their information? Would you email me that? Hughes and Monty Hepner?
I do not,
You don't?
I just see them.
Okay, I'll stop him.
I talked to Monty today.
I'll find him. I'll give you this information.
Talk to him tomorrow then.
So, but no, I do not have their contact information, so, because I always dealt with.
I kinda like
Mullins.
I like where Shaq's going on this. What if we could keep it rolling and figure out a joint venture between the school and the city on that softball field? Cause I know they can get funds right now through, there's a lot of money right now
Mhm.
available to schools. And if they had the kids, I don't know what their numbers are, but if they did, maybe they would work with us as a partner to fix that up and make it usable. I mean, is that illegal? Can we do that? How do we get that ball started? I mean, I could deal with Mr. Weber.
It's a Parks and Recs project. I'd go to Parks and Recs first and see what.
Right, because the ballpark itself and the park are part of this, what was it say, the Spirit of 76?
Yeah.
The Spirit of 76.
Who's on that?
Oh no, that was like,
I can't think of their names. A lot of them are in the museum.
yeah,
Some are on the wall. in the
they
park.
were all, that's when those amenities were developed.
Okay.
And the state is supposed to come through and audit and examine and, make sure things are up to date. Well, they stopped doing that, well then upgrades stopped happening. So before, when I talked to Parks and Recs several years ago, we were gonna have to bring everything up to code ADA compliant wise before they would even look at giving us money for it. But that can and could have changed since I talked to them last, but because the park is also, because there used to be an old cedar wooden sign at the ball field that said Spirit of 76
Okay.
is what, like I say, produced the ballpark. It was done by a grant. And I know the light pole down there, I don't think there's any electricity to, I'm not sure, but they were saying handicap parking had to be done, and I don't remember if bathrooms was an issue, as long as I think bathrooms were an issue, but as long as like the park itself, as bathrooms were open during events down there,
It would.
then it would work.
So I just need a point of contact, because I would like to talk to Mr. Weber and see if there would be some synergy maybe.
Yeah, and you can probably, I'm sure the information I have is outdated and the people probably are still out there. But you can probably just go online, is where I started. When I
Parks and
started
Rec.
Parks and Rec, government,
Okay.
gov.com, .gov. It's like Oklahoma Recreation Tourism or something like that. And they will always, if you call the wrong place, their recreations and tourism department's very nice. They'll guide you in the right spot, because I know I didn't start out in the right spot, so.
Okay.
But I had a lady that came out and talked. I met them in Winoka because Winoka was working on their walking trails and ATV trails and stuff at the time. And she met with both of us and went over a bunch of stuff, so.
Awesome.
I'll see if I can find what she gave me, because I know I didn't throw anything away.
So if there's some legwork that needs to be done, can we have your billing clerk do some legwork? If we make tasks, can we give it to you to present to her to knock down some of those barriers for us?
We'll do what we can.
Make an action plan?
Mhm.
All right, cool. You have any questions, Cam?
No, I was just sitting here wondering, you said that there had to be some ADA compliant stuff before they'd never even look at it?
That's what they had
So-
told us several years ago.
Oh,
when I
several
took-
years
yes,
ago,
like I
so
said,
that may not be the same.
It may not be, right. I
Okay.
mean, I'm sure some of it, and a lot of it was parking and having the bleachers,
Mhm.
seating available for it. I mean, that's your main stuff for a ball field, is basically your parking and seating.
Well, I just know that it has I don't know if it's still, but it used to be just a mosquito pond. It gets awful wet down there.
Yes, ma'am.
I've only been down there when it's dry and it's full of stickers.
Well, I lived
but
down
we
there
can-
when my kids were little, and they played baseball, and half the time we had to call the games off because it was underwater. No, I'm not kidding. It's underwater down
Just
there.
start a rice
Rice
farm
field.
research project.
Start
for
growing
school.
the rice. Well, it'd
That
be
might be
nice.
something we'll just have to look at, like, the next big rain.
It'd be nice to have it back because it was fun.
Multiple organizations can use it.
Well, and the kids need stuff to do.
Because
And
I've
it
always
was
said,
a
you know,
great
the
community-
FFA used to have the fireworks stand, they could have a softball tournament.
Is
You'll
it-
probably see more stuff become available with the new administration, presidential, spending money on stuff like that again.
Yeah,
But
it'd be
like it-
nice because it really brought the community together,
so many projects are similar to that. When we try to improve something, they'll say, okay, well, we'll give you $80,000 worth of lights at your ballpark, but we need you to have a bathroom. You say, okay, we'll put a bathroom in. Well, then it's gotta be in ADA's, whatever, up to federal code. Well, then you're putting in a $90,000 bathroom to get $80,000 worth of lights, and sometimes it doesn't
Yeah,
all
I
come
just,
together. But
you know how all that stuff works.
It's interesting and fun.
I
But
bet.
you know what we've seen a lot more of are those portable systems that are handicap compliance too. And like United Rentals owns their own portable toilets. And so you could actually utilize that service as a temporary fix to get something going. And that you could get through the state to get it all up to code by utilizing that. That's how they do all these band events, concerts, dragster stuff. I mean, it's just, I don't know, there's ways we could do it. But there's so much stuff, we just gotta figure out how to allocate some time and pick the ones that are important, like the next phase of the gas, that's huge, you know, and then I think the park thing's very important because it's the middle of our town. And I think that'll bring some unity that we desperately need through the whole town. And then we can go on to having a plan of action for more stuff. There's only a few of us. But we need
It's a few
to,
of a lot of chores.
but we need to bring in some people that are wanting just to ask them to help, you know, and I think we can do some of this more, do you think? I'm excited for the challenge.
Can I have your email address?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anything else? Do you my point of
So-
contact, phone number?
Does the
I'm sorry.
county-
Oh, that'd be great too.
Does
Yes.
the Town of Freedom own the baseball field? Because I just never even knew who it belonged to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just always
basically.
taking care of it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was probably just a slough before, like you're talking about. I don't know
Yeah,
if there
and
was a
then it
building
just-
there or something, but.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know. I thought,
Yeah,
Who's
because it's like, and I don't know if in like the past paperwork, if it says who actually applied for that, Spirit of 76 grant, and it was given, or, like I say, to tell us who initiated the project.
There was a guy with the Legion who was in town, but I mean a long time ago, like Ferris or somebody like that, who put the park project together and the ball project together, but that's been
It's before
oh, before my time for sure.
my time. Before I was born.
well, I'm like sitting there thinking I should know this, but I can't think of who it would be.
History lesson in the future.
Matt, it sounds like you got number 9 under control.
Thank you.
Stay after it, and I guess, see if you can contact some of the folks for the park board and get them kind of going, and then along with that, walking trail or whatever, the bridge deal with the rural water board, because their deadline's in June, July.
For the rural water, for their grants too?
To get their grant to put that water line in. And if they miss that, then they have a REAP grant, but they have to apply for that through Woodward County. I told them all that, I emailed
Everything's
that to
June
Darren.
1st.
Because the next fiscal year starts.
Oh.
They have to get it all done and figured in. And another grant that we use is very small. It's the Roundup grant through AEC, which is, you can get $1,000 a year. And I mean, at times they've only given us 500, and at times they've given us the full 1,000. So I mean, that's another avenue to,
You said we could utilize people for in-kind too. If they could provide their pole truck with poles and reset, maybe there's a way we could utilize them.
I don't probably call them, and they
Cool.
would. I don't know who's in that department, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would,
How about,
yes.
right on, what's next?
Well, if that concludes line item number 9, moving right along to line item 10, discussion possible action on use of resident complaint form.
Here, Matt came up with this, it's kinda, oh, sorry. It's for like the name, the address, is this
Yeah.
for the person?
Well, here's one right here. This is Robert's. So what I thought we should do, and I wanted to throw this your way, was like, basically, we need to count accountability. We need to write something down. That way they're not going around, or anybody's going around saying, well, we didn't get a problem solved. Well, now we've identified the problem. Then we do a work order for Stuart. Stuart goes and executes whatever needs done, gets it done, signs off on it, and then it puts an end to anybody saying we didn't get it done. and it holds us into accountability plus a timely response.
Because I told Matt, we were talking about that, a lot of this is like for our billing code that we have ordinances for.
But the
So
others,
that's-
what,
Right, yeah, the other,
Others.
but like this will help in helping Ty as well. I mean, people coming in and complaining, we could say, here's
Right.
this, add this person to your list of, you know, letters that need to go out or what we need to do. Kind of like Robert brought up, you know, dogs,
well,
so other.
Does this mean I don't have to engage my constituents and I can just hand out complaints?
Pretty much, yes.
Instead of getting a
I'm trying to take that
chew
off.
in the middle of aisle number 3.
Yes, say please
Okay.
stop by the office and pick up a citizen complaint.
Like, I just wanted to run a little theory and check it out. So I handed some out just to see what it was. Because people say they've asked for stuff that hasn't got done. Well, then you can go back to Stuart and say, well, here's the problem, here's when identified it, here's whom identified it, what's your plan of action? And so that, I think that'll help us be more efficient going forward. Then there's no one to blame.
Right,
And that's where, you know, other is very important. So, like, we're working for Garber, we're working for Binger, and we're working for a couple of towns. And so I asked their departments what they had. And that's kind of where I took 3 or 4 different ones.
Yeah.
Since we don't have online like Oklahoma City, you know, or Enid, you know, it's online. But this is a simple form, but then Dawn could receive them down here.
right,
And
and
then
she can delegate it out
Yes.
to, here's one for Stuart,
But then
here's one for, yes.
if we have a problem and somebody's accusing us of not taking action to resolve it, we can say, well, at this date, Mrs. Sheelight came in and here's what she needed. Well, then we could back it up with a work order that says, well, we went out there, we took care of the dog that's next to your house that's pooping in your garage. You know what I mean? So then everybody can stop with, we're not doing it. And if, I'm open to changing it, whatever works for us.
Looks good to me. I would put something on the bottom, or I guess you wouldn't have to do that as long as we put notes down there, but you need to have the work order numbers
To reference it.
for
Reference
what's
it
done.
back to
and
Well,
him.
we
make
can
That
notes
put them
that were made.
together, like whenever Stuart's done and
Yes.
signs off on it, then he brings it back, we put this with that, and there's a file.
Email me, I'll have Laura send that to you. We did this, I had Laura do this for me.
Okay.
And then that way we can modify it.
Yeah, because we need some way to track it.
I like
that
The
idea.
numbers
Put her on the
are
bottom,
made.
just put work order number and
Yeah.
done, just tell her to add that.
Yeah,
You can have
yeah, gotcha. But then, it takes all the he said, she said off all of our plates. And I think that's what we all can agree to.
it. Well, and it's like some of these, if they need brought up in meetings, I have this stuff to bring to you guys at that point in time, and, cause, yeah,
Cool.
so we can say, these have been completed, these are in progress.
Well, you're the trustee. I shouldn't have to fill out a complaint form. That's your job. Is what I would guess a few would say.
Well, say this way, if you fill out that form, you're holding us accountable.
I usually just take it in here and write it down on a work order.
Per
Well, I noticed
discussion on Main
my
Street.
phone has started to ring, so that's when I was like, there's gotta be a easier way to track this. So,
Yeah, so we need, with that, you need some kind of schedule to track those in work orders where it's coming up, and there's a,
and that, I think you have your billing department, or billing clerk figure that out for you, just take that off you, so you're not messing
Oh,
with it.
yeah, I mean, because she works with Stuart with the utilities and whatever it is and everything, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, they'll just all be handled in the office and filed.
There you go.
do we need to take
And like anything
action?
important that she thinks needs to be put into a meeting is when it can be brought to us.
Okay.
Clerk, do we need to take action on number 10, or do we need, is that just an administrative decision to adopt that form?
Well, we'll go ahead and take a motion to utilize this form.
I make a motion to adopt the complaint form.
I'll second.
Can't spell adopt.
APODT.
Okay, vote, Kama,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Pass.
Line item 11, department reports. Do you have anything from the maintenance department?
I do not.
I don't think we have anything around where we covered on maintenance.
Yeah.
Do you have anything from the office manager?
No, I say because it's meetings before cutoff notices, so I don't think she's had any issues here lately. She hasn't said anybody's complained, so
Cool.
bonus to that.
Cindy, do you have any town clerk / treasurer report?
I did my annual training on last Friday, and so I've got that requirement complete for the next year. I can do mine yearly. I also have the certificates for you guys, if you want them to remain here in a file. Just leave them on the table and I'll make a file for you. If you have an achievements wall at your house and want them
We'll put that on the fridge
put
at
it on the
home.
fridge, you may do so if you so want. So they are here, if you do need them. I talked to Pebbles about the 522 ambulance deal. She has spoken with 2 people to pick up the application. Both of them seemed very, one of them was going to pick up the application.
Who
and
were
fill
they?
it. She didn't say. So, but the other one, both of them asked questions, were very interested, she said. So it was by text, so I didn't have a lot.
So there will be somebody from Freedom on that board.
Yes, she has talked to.
That's good to
Some
hear.
people,
We need
yes.
that.
Yeah, I
So,
was kind of worried about
That I did, like I said, I did talk to her about that.
Because that's gonna increase that's gonna increase revenue to help the ambulance and the fire, correct? Or is it just the ambulance only? I haven't got to read all
I think
the
it's
stuff yet.
ambulance only.
Okay.
So, and a lot of our fun, and Pebbles and I had talked, like, we have a great community that donates for anything and everything that they need. And we're in a great position that our county helps us pay for some things, and the county own trucks and different things. We pay for the maintenance and all of that on our own trucks and on our own ambulances, and we own the ambulances. The county doesn't help us there, but they help in the fire, or the ambulance doesn't, monies aren't having to be funneled through both to take care of both since they're volunteers.
Well, I have a question for you and for Pebbles. So like during school hours, you've got Mrs. Woodard up there and you've got
Mr. Webb.
Mr. Weber as well. So that kind of eliminates if there's a call for driving the EMT, right? So is there gonna be enough funds if we wanted to hire / a part-time, say,
I don't know, I think that's what this board,
that's what
this board is gonna.
because I feel that's the only kind of gap you have. Because like
Here
when that
it
kid got
is.
hurt at my place, for example, you know, they were in school. Mr. Weber was in Alva, I think, is where he was at. And then Mrs. Woodard came out, which they did a great job saving that kid. But I think there's a gap right there from 3 o'clock to, 8 o'clock. We could feel, and
And I don't know, like I said, I think that's what this board is gonna
Yeah.
help determine what funds, what it can be used
Right.
for, where it goes, different things like that, so.
And another thing is they've brought it up to me, a couple of different firefighters. I don't know if they brought it up to you yet, Chad, but they've talked about there may be some funds to help expand that building that we, the city, own to make room. Because right now, those guys are stacked right on top of each other in there. It's crazy how it's
Pebbles
like,
had
Yes,
talked
I
about
know.
that 3 or 4 years ago, but we haven't heard anything
Yeah,
more.
cause
that
we,
there was
when
a
the
big-
REAP comes up,
Right.
if we're in kinda like a little lag on the gas deal, like we're finishing up a project and
Right.
we don't, if she needs something, we always ask for her too, because
okay,
like, emergencies and things like that is one of the higher scored parts of that REAP grant, like infrastructure's top, and then, cause like each category has its own scoring level. And so emergency and stuff like that's a pretty high, deal in there, but yeah, we've asked, because I know, we've asked her about like the fire hydrants and stuff,
Mhm.
are they where they need to be, not like where they need to be, but
still
compliant,
got a
are they
pumper
usable? And
because I like what Chad said earlier. He is right. Biden administration is dumping a lot into infrastructure and especially first response. And right now would be the great time to encapsulate that.
And she's really good about catching all that and applying
Yeah.
for grants and doing stuff too.
But the only thing I see is on the south side, those services you guys have behind there, you get your gas, your water, and your sewer. We might not be able to come south, but we do have a dilapidated restaurant sitting there that could be bulldozed in. And maybe build a secondary building right there. You know, that might be something that we could look at as well. Just something to make it easier for our firefighters and our EMT guys to give them what they need. I'm just thinking, like you said, think big, right? And I'm just thinking functionality, response time, making it easy on these volunteers, if you will.
So, yeah, we can get with her and find out what
That's good.
all was needed. Because like I said, I've talked to her about this upcoming REAP,
Yeah.
if she had anything to let us know. So I'll
We need
ask
to get
her
a
about
light in there as well. I don't know if you knew that or not.
When is this 522 supposed to get kicked off? Do you know?
I don't know, because applications aren't due till what, June?
Yeah,
I think everything's due in June.
It starts though in July, I think is. I did a little, after I talked to you, I did a little call around. I think Brian said it was July is when all that starts. So
Okay. As I know, it said like come pick up an application. That all
they're
the
still trying to
places
figure it all out. There's a big matrix they're trying to figure out.
Yes.
So
I think this is a new thing for the entire county,
yeah,
for
But it's
everybody
needed, though.
involved, yeah.
keep everybody happy. Well, what else do we need to do?
True Oklahoma fashion, we put it on the ballot and then figure out how we're gonna make it work after it passes.
And then here are the funds, all the accounts as of the end of the month.
Can I keep this? This is when we're talking about what we're gonna submit in.
Yes, I
Is
have.
that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
I have one for my notes, so we're good.
Thank you. Just making sure.
Yeah, no.
Taking my pile.
You don't scribble on yours, I'm not scribbling on mine. So, I think that is all I have. We got the accounts, the training's done. 522 we talked about.
Do we need to have Helen at the next meeting? Or maybe
She had
have her-
talked about needing to come, and so I will ask her if she
What,
wants.
what are your guys' thoughts, Shad, Cameron?
It's fine with me.
And then we could get a game plan.
So I'll tell her you guys would like her to come. And then, okay, that thought just went, sorry.
We're good.
We're good.
We covered everything.
So, good to go.
Press secretary says we'll circle back to you on that one if it comes up.
Once I've, circle back.
Okay, is that it, Cindy?
I'm
That you
good.
can
That I
remember,
can
recall
remember.
at this time,
Yes.
best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Line item number 12. Executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307 B7 to discuss any matter where disclosure of information would violate confidentiality requirements.
I don't really see it that necessary.
What is line item 12? We're going into executive session.
Mhm.
What do we legally need to do for 12?
It's discussing, the termination of the, utility compensation, which in essence discuss employees and everything else which cannot be discussed in the public. All like reviews of any compensation, pay, all that has to be handled in confidentiality.
Well, I'm
And
not,
then the vote can be handled outside, the vote on whether or not to, because you don't vote in executive session, you discuss in executive session.
well, it's just, I think it's just real simple. We're not gonna discuss employees and their compensation and everything. We're discussing about,
But that's what your action item is, you listed it
Mm-hmm,
as for employees as well, so
yeah.
that needs to be held in executive
Oh,
session.
okay, okay, I understand.
I need a motion to go into executive session if we're going into executive session.
A
Right.
second.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
What's in?
At 7:21.
Okay, you did the motion.
I did,
Okay.
seconded by
I can't, okay.
Kayla.
Okay, vote, Chad,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
entering into executive session.